Alex Villanueva is crying.
In closing, I want to thank every member of the department. I'm going to spend the next 2 weeks visiting the entire department. Thanking everybody.
What the fuck?
They're the true heroes.
Oh my God, he's literally crying. That's awesome. Get fucked. Get absolutely fucking cumstered, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, he lost by a major margin, too. Only possible good thing to come out of Taylor Swift? Taylor Swift fans can't get tickets. President AOC breaks up Amazon. Daily reminder that Ticketmaster is a monopoly. It's a merger with Live Nation and should never have been approved. Its merger with Live Nation should never have been approved, and they need to be reined in. Break them up. Yeah. Try to get tickets for 6+ hours today. Fuck Ticketmaster. Yeah. Oh, here. Well, before we get to Amazon reportedly firing 10,000 workers, let's talk about this claim. So, yesterday you guys came to me and said, Hassan, why are you silent on Iran? Your silence on Iran speaks volumes and things of that nature. Now, of course, I've covered the story that has been happening in Iran. The Iranian people protesting against their fundamentalist, authoritarian, theocratic government for, quite a while, as I do regularly. But this was one thing that I saw everywhere on the internet, and it was actually worrisome how quickly it took on, it just became mainstream. This idea that Iran was going to impose a death penalty on, Iran was going to impose a death penalty on nearly 15,000 protesters. Now, this is not true as it stands. It can become true, but it currently is not. And from what I understand, Justin Trudeau also tweeted this out and then deleted it. Ian Bremmer, Iranian parliament votes overwhelmingly to execute 14,000 arrested protesters. A global response, starting with the G20, must be severe and immediate. So here is Sune Engel Rasmussen. It says, extraordinary lack of basic fact-checking. Iran has not sentenced 15,000 protesters to death, as a number of celebrities and political leaders are saying. Here are the facts as we know them. Iran has arrested about 15K protesters, according to rights groups who also say nearly 350 protesters have been killed, which I mentioned as well, including 50 minors. It has sentenced one protester to death so far as we know, which I also mentioned yesterday. Sometimes your W seems straight scripted, lol. Yeah. It's not that. First of all, this is a bleak situation where misinformation against America's foreign enemies spreads so quickly. And so, therefore, it's not necessarily a W. It's an L for everybody. The claim that Iran has sentenced 50K protesters to death stems from a call by 227 of the country's 290 MPs for tougher, quicker sentences for protesters, including potentially, but not limited to, the death penalty. What? FJ's posted a video on collective bargaining agreements in Australia and has called you out. Wait, what? Why me? What did I do? That's so random. Okay. Anyway, which has been used in the past against a limited number of protesters. The first protester that was sentenced to death, by the way, which can be for numerous different reasons, but the first one that was sentenced to death so far, which is still unjustifiable, I'm anti-capital punishment, as you know, was sentenced for, according to the fairly corrupt Iranian judicial process, he was sentenced to death for public disturbances that includes burning a building, I believe. Okay? It's pretty, it's just I'm going to be as cut and dry as possible here. It's still bullshit. No one should be fucking sentenced to death. That's psychotic. So, that is the Iranian government. But the claim in and of itself, especially when we talk about like a horrifically authoritarian, fundamentalist, theocratic government, okay? I don't think you need to make up additional shit. Like, I don't think you need to make up additional shit to make them look worse than they actually are, because they're pretty fucking bad. Like, it's like literally up there, right? Iran's parliament does not issue legal sentences. That's up to the judiciary. Lawmakers, however, do issue hardline calls or write letters on the regular for the judiciary or the government, which are never implemented into law or policy. This correction is not meant to whitewash or excuse anything Iran is doing. We at the Wall Street Journal have reported nearly every day for the past 2 months on the oppression of basic rights in Iran. Scores have been killed, thousands arrested. The Iranian state is known for sentencing protesters in trials without due process and is widely accused of using torture and violence to obtain forced confessions, which are inadmissible in normal, courts. We should expect that to happen in the coming weeks and months as well, but misinformation needs to be addressed. This case is symptomatic of how many Westerners with no expertise in Iran view the mullahs. I doubt the high-profile think tankers and heads of state would be as quick to issue such erroneous statements about almost any other country. That's not true. North Korea is another country that they would do that for. It is like China is another country that they would do that for. This is a major blind spot that has... This is a major blind spot. Pakistan, Afghanistan, these are countries, Russia, these are countries that like have been declared foreign enemy states, right? Like foreign nations that are enemies to the United States of America. If you're on the official bad guy list, it does not matter. Pakistan is not necessarily on the official bad guy list, but you know what I'm saying. Venezuela, Cuba, these guys are, okay? China, Russia. If you're on the rogue nations, not a part of America club lists, not a part of the America list, you will 100% get hit with any number of different propaganda talking points, and the average person has no capacity to like think about it clearly. And, it's just how it is. It is how it is. I think that there is a gigantic blind spot, and that blind spot is deliberate. I think that is not a blind spot that we arrived at on an accident. That is a fundamental role that manufacturing consent within the media plays. American media works as an arm of capital. They work to normalize some of the oppression that you experience under capitalism. They also work to declare American enemies to be like outright horrifying, monstrous, monolithic beings, so that no matter what kind of like unjustifiable bloodshed America may in the future or may not, or may in the future decide to engage in these countries, then all the Americans are already geared up into thinking that is justifiable. Okay? The Islamic Republic seeks to gain support from the Iranian population by claiming to be a victim of Western propaganda and lies. Nothing helps this claim more than an unfounded allegation by a Western head of state that is so easily dismissed. I hope you don't take this the wrong way, because I mean the utmost disrespect. You know nothing, Jon Snow. Madar Gwar Have. What? What is this guy saying? Niyazi be goshtaki nist? I love fucking, Iranians living in the States and the shit that they, okay. Said you're a son of a whore. Oh, okay. They're talking Farsi. I don't know. I can't speak Farsi. It's not even like preemptive propaganda for potential future war crimes. If you know anything about the state of Iran, you already recognize, if you have like a sense of humanity inside of you, that you haven't been, that hasn't been destroyed in your brain, You recognize that sanctions are collective punishment, and that sort of collective punishment is done so that political instability happens in these countries. And also on top of that, holy fuck, New York Times literally just coming out and saying it, dude. That's crazy. That's a crazy fucking wow. What a title for an article. I'm sorry, I got ADHD'd here for a second, but Western allies look to Ukraine as testing ground for weapons. Ukraine has become a testing ground for state-of-the-art weapons and information systems that Western political officials and military commanders predict could shape warfare for generations to come. I like that is the title, right? But like the spin on it is like positive. You know what I mean? They're like, yeah, I mean, this is literally just Iraq and Afghanistan. You know what I mean? From the jump, they're doing Afghanistan shit. And it's even better now because like they can still send their contractors, and there isn't like too much. The tax dollars are directly going to the R&D for the weapons. It's a testing ground for weapons. No Americans are dying, so the political punishments are like less. Because when you don't have like veterans coming back from the Ukrainian war whose legs are fucking blown up, or who are brain broken from fighting in the trenches in Ukraine, all of a sudden there's less political punishment for that at home. You could just throw as many Ukrainians who do have a true and just interest in emancipation. I mean, it's not really that state of the art. It's drones dropping missiles the size of grenades instead of a car window like a plane would directly onto Wagner Group, usually playing dead because they hear the drones overhead. I mean, that's one of the weapons that you're speaking of. I'm just saying that, like, it's a gangbusters opportunity for America. All those new cool toys that we fucking create with American tax dollars that are being utilized on Ukrainian soil will then be used in battles all around the world. It's great.